welcome again to Marilyn. And we've been discussing the weather as we do. We've got the same storm as you have, but it's welcome here because we've not had a drop of rain since March. Yes.
Trouble is, you then get the floods, don't you?
Oh, yes,
Because it takes a long time for the water to actually sink in. I
it
mean, we
does.
here, I mean, it must have just chucked it down last night. Or we were destined to have all the wind as well, which we haven't got.
Oh,
But the floods, I mean, the floods around here, I mean, on the roads are awful, and walking the dog is just out of the question. I mean, I tried this morning, but the fields are so sort of gloopy and squelchy. It's really not nice.
well, the
Horrible.
biggest danger here that you've got to really be aware of if you've not had rain for half a year, which is very common, then the little beads of rubber leave your tire and leave it on the road.
Oh.
And it's like literally ice. You cannot
Mm.
move, you cannot brake, and people, especially tourists, don't realise.
I don't realise, no.
They finish up in a crumple.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a word?
You do have to be careful. I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, I always say that when we've had a dry spell and it's been hot, you have to, I always say to be very careful because the roads will be lethal.
Well, there they are. They're more lethal down here. We've got a road like you wouldn't believe.
You'd probably, it also, can't it, am I wrong, create landslides as well?
Oh, we have those
Yeah.
frequently. The big danger in the south of Spain is all the nations come down here,
Mm.
and their different driving habits, let's say, are appalling. And the Spanish driving is appalling, especially, and we've said this before, and I know I get into trouble. I don't know what the ladies, Spanish ladies, are on. I want some. They drive like loons, and I don't know what it is. But there you are. It's not good. And yet the same road goes right the way to France,
All right.
1,000 odd kilometers. And when we go, because we live between here and Catalonia, or Catalonia, if you wish, the driving is quite different. It's much kinder like the British driving. Here, everybody takes advantage and dies for you on a roundabout. Don't try and get in a roundabout. Oh, there you go. We've had our rant.
Anyway,
Oh,
there's the
that's
rant.
just the start of it. We are going to make you annoyed again. I'm sorry, folks, because there is a beast called Prevent. And this was set up to head off at the pass, the lunatics that come into our country and want to Islamize it and want to kill anybody in the way. So they set up Prevent. And we've just had the recent figures. They are supposed to collate stuff, including MI5. Uh, all the information goes in to one pot. And then they say, we'd better stop this. There's going to be an attack in Blackburn, wherever. And it doesn't happen, mainly thanks to MI5 plus, we'll call them. But a lot of things get through. And one thing is, and again, we've got to mention the word elite. Where do they get their figures from? Most of the people are right wing. What? That's not true at all. But this is the elite that wants to do a BBC on us and tell lies.
Yeah,
Well, they've got their comeuppance, and so have Prevent, because Prevent, of course, didn't prevent Southport and many
absolutely.
other things
And
because
it,
they're looking up the wrong tree.
yeah, well, also they don't, I think their criteria to to sort of qualify for the prevent thing, the criteria is what needs to be rewritten, I think, because the schools will refer them, and the people that have been like raising allegations of stuff and all of that, the schools, they've been inundated. Those figures have really risen, and even 4-year-olds. I mean, 4-year-olds. I mean, I put a thing out on Twitter yesterday. Christmas is coming. Please don't buy your little one a phone Because that's how, I mean, how is a 4-year-old going on and what the heck is a 4-year-old doing to require them to be referred to prevent? But even when they are, we've seen it before with other people that have gone on and done dastardly things that were referred to prevent, and then they were turned away from prevent. So something is fundamentally wrong with the way they assess them.
It's not joined up, the government.
Well, what
Official.
is? There's no cohesive thought at all
No,
in
it is in a
anything.
terrible state.
Yeah, in anything. With the NHS, there isn't any, it's dreadful that there's no, even when you are on these committees, like with domestic abuse committees, whatever it is, the MASH and all of that, they're not joined up either. They have a little meeting, powwow, but they don't
No,
actually glue
no.
the stuff together. And there's no excuse. You've got computers now. It's not like just handwritten notes that slip into a file and the file gets misfiled, is it? It's all on computer.
Allegedly. We're going to move on. You've mentioned Christmas and it's Christian. Christian. Well, it is Christian. Of course, it is. It's Christmas light time in many towns and villages. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Over here, Spain, particularly, really major on this. And the lights are fabulous.
Yeah.
But to say I don't know who pays for the electricity. We do, of course.
Well, that's it,
But
isn't it?
it's
Our local village, when it's like it's a little very antique market town, all the lights are up, hanging off the one of those icicle-looking lights, that come down. They're so pretty. They only have white light. I love white light. There's a beautiful. I don't know if you have ever been there, but it's what you call it, a national sort of heritage site, Óbidos up in Portugal, halfway up. Yeah, it's a global one of those sites that, and the Óbidos is a uh, walled city really because there's a big church in it, and the king gave it as a wedding present to his wife, and she was very involved in helping people with TB and all sorts of things. And the it's all completely dressed with white light all around the shapes of the churches and the houses and the parapets, the battlements. It's exquisite, and you drive up the A8 and you can see it. So it's near Caldas da Rainha. It's about an hour north of Lisbon. It's absolutely stunning.
yeah.
And it's at the head of where the longest lagoon in
Yes, I
Europe
know
is.
where you are.
You
I
know
know
where I
where you
mean?
are now. Yeah,
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 and
yeah.
it's one of those World Heritage sites. It is stunning at Christmas, but it does make me laugh because when we lived there, there's no sign of health and safety. You
No,
get this sort of flat back lorry sort of trundling around this sort of cobbled streets, and there's these guys with no hard hats on, stringing up the lights. I thought you'd never get that here.
no, no. I
God.
mean, you've got two extremes. It's the June festival here, which is, I suppose, the nearest you can get to bonfire night in the
Oh,
UK.
okay.
And they're all in the streets and talk about health and safety. They literally walk the streets. They've got a rocket in their hand and a stick. They hang on to the stick, light the rocket, and it goes up from your hand. Nobody cares. Could be finished up your left nostril. They don't care. Anyway, that's for another. I'm mentioning Christmas lights and Sheffield particularly. And I discovered actually this has been going on for a few years. Because of health and safety, there's no Christmas lights, health and safety. And sustainability. Well, we know the wacky greens are behind that
Oh,
word.
God.
They cancel the Christmas lights again this year. And the reason is too much footfall where the shops are, health and safety. That's what we need in our high streets. Footfall, you clowns. That's what, but when you get people who are ideologues,
Oh,
never
yeah.
worked in their life, a lot of them gone straight from uni with daft ideas, they don't see the reality.
No.
And can I say, as an addendum to this, by the way, the mayor of Sheffield is a Muslim.
Yes.
I don't know why it's relative that, but you make your own mind up. And Christmas lights are banned. Shameful.
Did you see the now what was it? The an MP, a Muslim MP for, was it Birmingham, who
Yes.
unbelievable, where he's preaching and saying about Muslims are taking over, they're going to take over the country. What is he doing as an MP? He's an absolute traitor, complete traitor. He should be got rid of and deported. I mean, it's all over Twitter. The whole video is there.
Yeah, I mean,
Of,
I tell you what, you only see half of it in this
yeah,
country.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We've
absolutely.
got quite a few stringers because our biggest audience actually is in the States, mainly because we're on Roku there that's built in every television set. So we've got a massive audience there. And I get videos sent to me that are not available in the United Kingdom
That was interesting.
that illustrate things that you would not believe. And they don't, well, it's obviously filtered along the way somewhere. I'll give you an example this week, and it may by now have filtered through to our social media system, but certainly it hadn't when it was sent to me. Lady walking in a street, about 50, not being aggressive. She's a middle-aged lady. She goes and says, well, I don't believe in the Quran. I believe in the Bible. And lo and behold, Plod comes along and arrests her in a not very tidy way, sticks her up against the tree to put handcuffs on her because she seemed to be causing trouble. It is wicked. Now, why?
Where was this? Was this in the UK?
This is in London,
Good
on a
Lord.
street in a
That's out,
suburb,
that's outrageous.
completely. Now, why hasn't that found social media in Britain? Number one question. Maybe, well, we'll put it out. It'll find it out that way. But then it may get filtered again. But
Yeah.
there's so many things that we get sent from the states that you never see. It is wickedness what is going on at the moment.
That's dreadful. That is dreadful. I mean, why can't why can't you just say, unless I suppose was he then kicking off about the Quran and then she didn't walk away, she just continued an argument. Is that what it was? But in which case they should have both.
No, there was no kerfuffle at all.
Ridiculous.
It
Absolutely
is
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It's frightening. It is honestly frightening. I think when you're living on the ground here, Rodney, there is real fear with anyone and everyone and anger. Truly, honestly, it's
It,
unbelievable. People
we
are,
say time and time again, it is palpable. We've just recorded a session in Hillingdon, um, and James and Wendy, who are the organisers of the last march and another one coming shortly. And I actually edited it myself. We had real problems getting the footage through for various technical reasons. So I actually edited that myself. And I was angry at the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
And I was angry because people who want freedom are not being allowed it. But illegal immigrants that are sucking us dry in five-star hotels and then
Oh,
coming and disrupting our communities, whereby forget 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening, nobody goes out anymore.
that's right.
And
That's
they
right.
don't
And
go out in the
now,
day either.
I mean, Crowborough, which is a really lovely small
Yeah.
little place in Sussex, not far away from where I used to live, they have now been told they are going to have 540 migrants, and and where it is, it's like a stone's throw from where people are living, and it's just not right. I mean, and then I saw some veterans are being thrown out of barracks so that these guys can come in. It is outrageous, and I mean, and you only had to look at what's going on in France, and it appears to be like this. I mean, they're marching through the little villages and towns with their blooming life jackets, going into, oh my goodness, what is it? It's a very well-known sports place. Um, a decathlon, is it something like that? I think it might be, where they're going in to buy and get measured up for their life jackets. And I mean, in broad daylight, there's no
And
embarrassment.
when they come to UK, they are actually laughing at the suffering of
Of
the people.
course they are. Of course they are. It's absolutely dreadful. And I mean, it is dividing the nation. You can't now then Shamama Mahmood, whatever her name is, she came out to
Mahmood.
say that, oh, they're now thinking about taking on the way that the Danes have done it, the Danish have done it, which they actually hit a lot of ECHR and human rights problems, the Danish, but they've done it anyway. And we could do the same. But will she? I bet she won't. I bet she won't. I mean, and why? And if so, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? It's just, I can remember saying to my dad when I was a teenager, I think, was in my 20s maybe, they should never open the borders. And that was the biggest mistake. And he told me I was racist. I said, I'm not racist. I said, if you open the borders, it's just going to be like a waterfall of people.
Well, we've mentioned this before, we'll mention it again. Mandatory vaccines, things like this are all part of the scene. It's been announced that the state will insist your children in the UK have the vaccine.
It's,
Otherwise, you are in the doo-doo.
it's outrageous. I mean, whatever happens to, and what about the people whose religion, was it Seventh Day, what they call the science,
Seven-day Adventism,
7 days. I mean, they don't.
Christadelphians, yeah.
It's again, and I think I'm right in saying not the Mormons. There's another one. Oh
Are
God,
you thinking of the Christadelphians?
they don't agree with all of that. I'm
No,
trying to
no,
think.
there's lots of
I
sects.
mean, you can't go against their religion. I mean, and how do we
Oh, yes,
know
you can.
that
If you're the government.
these migrants coming in? What about all the disease they're bringing in? And I'm not joking because I live 10 miles up the road from Luton, and I mean I don't go near it. It's a cesspit, and Luton is now the second town in the country with the highest TB. And then you've got diphtheria coming back. Diphtheria was wiped out decades ago. So who's bringing it in?
Well, we know that the authorities
And
will.
they will have sexual transmitted diseases.
Yeah. Well, it's all part of the globalism. Mr. Sir, call him what you like, and he's called by various names, I promise. Moment.
And they're not
Guy
repeatable.
Fawkes is my favourite. No, literally that 35-foot bonfire image of him was gloriously done, as we've mentioned. He is a globalist. Many of the elites, it's calculated there are 15% of elites in the country, and they're running it. In their leafy glades, they don't get on the ground where people are tangibly suffering. And he will not take control. He will do nothing because it suits his agenda,
Yeah.
which I repeat is globalism. We're on it. Well, we're with it. We're on it together. Let's bring it on, including the World Health Authority organization. So there's where we are. And I am fearful. I have a lot of medic friends, and so are they. When the truth comes out about the COVID, whether it has altered our DNA, what long COVID really is all about. Should we have followed other countries and said, right, we'll let it gain the height, which is going to be along the road somewhere, and then we will all be safe because we'll have herd immunity.
The herd immunity. I can remember all the time during COVID. I said that Sweden didn't do it, did they? They went with immunity, and they haven't got the problems that we've had.
No,
I
they had
find
better
it,
stats as well.
yeah, but I do wonder sometimes. I mean, you could say it's maybe I go down the conspiracy theory route, but you know, I have seen, as you well know, ridiculous disability and what should I say, babies born different from parents that were in their 30s, perfectly healthy parents have had absolutely unhealthy babies. And is there a link there? Of course, they're never going to say if there is a link, are they? They're never going to tell you the truth. But it just makes me feel that I, in my lifetime, have never seen some of these issues that some babies are now suffering from. And also, you've got, I think autism has definitely massively increased. And I don't know whether that is diet, could be diet, probably is
Diet
diet.
or diagnosis,
Yeah.
the two Ds you've got to be always careful of.
Yes, yes.
Again, that will come out in the fullness of time. And while we're talking about our migrant pensioners, and we did mention this before, but we will mention it again in context. A lot of them are using ECHR to say we're not going to be looked after in our old age. We
Well,
would
neither are
prefer to
we.
stay in Britain. Well, that's my
Neither are
question.
we. What about the people in Britain? What about the care homes getting up to scratch here? I
Yeah.
mean, it's outrageous. I mean, there was a thing I saw on Twitter. How many of our people are sleeping on the streets while these people are in 4 or 5 star hotels? It's absolutely awful. I mean, it's just, I just can't get my head around it at all. I really can't. And I've never been so angry and disturbed by what's going on, and fearful for my own grandchildren. And and as you say, you don't even go out at night. I mean, I was up in Nottingham at the weekend there. I didn't go out in the evening, on the Saturday evening, or ever, or even during the day. Stayed in the hotel and drove home again. And at the base of this is fear. I mean, if you go on a train through London, you come off at St Pancras or whatever, or it's there in the back of the mind the whole time. And there's no point, what's his name, James Healy, saying we've all got to be more diligent. Well, we're not expecting someone to come at us with an axe. Why don't you make us feel safe? And they're not making us feel safe. And the amount of sexual assaults that are from ethnic communities, something like 80% or something it is up in
Yes,
the
it
northern
is.
towns, from these migrants who have no moral compass, no ethical compass. They have no, I don't know where they come from, back end of arse end of nowhere, in Pakistan, wherever it is, and they come over here and they think it's their right. I just, I am beyond, I'm beyond calm. I mean, I can't, I
Well,
can't.
so is dear old Boris, by the way. We've got to mention this. And we've got to mention the BBC, of course, because the tip of the iceberg really comes to mind. You ain't seen anything yet, folks, because the dirt is going to be dished
Oh,
in
yes.
various directions. The effluent will hit the fan, believe you me, very shortly. And Boris, of course, before the very old Tim Davie decided to resign, and his news chief of news, he said, cough or leave. So he's getting frustrated, and he turned out to be right. So they've left, but there are so many people still there. And this is the thing. So, what do we do with the BBC? The answer actually is quite simple. We offer it to an entrepreneur and we say to them, sort that lot out. And they'll say, oh, great, 30,000 journalists. That's got to be cut down. Blooming right it is. And they'll sort it out. Same with the NHS if you go to a decent entrepreneur. But you have to be able to step in the background and control it because, as we know, companies they're not perfect. They can get excited. They do need some control.
Yes.
But
Yes.
anything that is owned by the government is disaster because it becomes fat and lazy. You name
Absolutely.
one thing that is not fat and lazy that is nationalised, it doesn't exist. And you might say, oh, well, water came along. Yeah, but that's the fault of the government because they've not Ofwat is useless. So I'm talking about bodies like Ofcom and Ofwat, even though I don't like either of those for various reasons, but they're in the business of controlling excesses of businesses that could occur. But Ofwat is a waste of time, and so is Ofcom for that matter.
Oh yes, so is Ofsted.
Yes,
It's
anything that's off
off. It's
is
everything
off.
beginning. It's everything beginning with off, isn't it?
Yes,
Jog off, jog on. But the BBC. I mean, I agree with Trump. He should be taking them to task over this. It is appalling what they did. And then it came out that they also changed the one that Newsnight went out with. How much
yes, a
else?
couple of
And
years before.
also,
Mhm.
why is the chairman still there? The rot starts at the top. He was at the very top. He should also have gone. He shouldn't still be in situ. I
No,
mean, I don't know. Maybe you disagree with me, but I mean, I mean, he should go as well. He's toxic as well.
let's take the heat out of this a little bit. Let's think back into history. 2009. Now, what happened in 2009 and there or thereabouts? Well, head of the CPS was the aforementioned Sir Keir. That's how you get a Sir. It comes automatically with certain bodies. What? So we'll just call him Keir or Starmer or
Yeah,
Stammerer or whatever you want to call him. But he was at the centre of the BBC scandal about Savile.
yeah.
And they got a case together because it's a good idea before spending a lot of our tax money in court to make sure you're going to win. That's what the CPS was about. Well, he was head of it, and they got four pretty stonewall cases. Now, don't forget, when Savile left this mortal coil, suddenly there were 500 cases. He'd messed around with at least 500 children.
He was the worst CPS. He was the worst person ever to be in charge of Crown prosecutions. He was awful. He was awful. I mean, and he's done nothing. I mean, one would think that having done that experience and all that, that he would be out there battling for all these rape gang people that are now coming out through the, seeping under the doorways and out, and leaking everywhere, and now in court and everything that are coming out. I mean, it's all, and he never comments. He never comments on anything to do with damaged, hurt, harmed children. He keeps his mouth shut. Well, of course, he's never here, is he?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, I saw on Twitter today, even the media, and as I've been saying that, but even the media are now calling him Never Hear Keir.
Yes.
He's
And
here about one day in six.
if
He's here.
you were recruiting as a private company, a CEO for a children's organization or whatever, the last person you'd go to is Keir Starmer. Because look at
Absolutely.
his track record,
I
and
know.
yet he is Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and we've got to put up with him, even though his own side want to get rid of him.
Yeah, that was a funny old thing that went on this week, isn't it? I
Mm.
mean, who is the person? There is that story of having a coup against him must have been real because the Guardian printed it, the Times printed it, it was on GB News. You
Yeah.
know, I can't, well, they can't all have made that up, could they? And now it's all gone quiet. Now it's all gone quiet. And I mean, was it Wes Streeting? Was it McSweeney? All
Yeah,
gone quiet.
it's
But
appalling.
I don't know what's going to happen with Trump because, as you say, the clock is ticking, and GB News have got a clock doing it right down to when the actual time is. And it is one
We
of
will
those
know
things.
later today. Yes.
But you can't. Why should we? Because it'll be us that, how are they going to get around that? That it would be the taxpayer that's paying all this money because that's how they're funded, isn't it? So
Yes.
how are they going to get around that? Oh, and a wonderful culture.
There
So,
are, believe
oh,
you me, there are some clever lawyers that will get round
oh,
it.
fine. And but you look who you've got as a culture set. Lisa Nandy. Oh
I
my.
know she's supporting the BBC.
Oh, she is another one that's absolutely awful. She really is. They do not have anyone that's worth. They've got nothing about them at all. None of
No,
them.
their
None of them.
gravitas is zero.
Oh, it's dreadful. It's just
Um,
dreadful.
we must mention Rupert Lowe's. He's got a petition together, and he wants illegal immigrants deporting straight away. and it's reached well over 500,000 in a few days.
But it won't get discussed.
No,
If you get more than 10,000 on a petition, it's supposed to be discussed in the House. This isn't going to be discussed. He
no, I
won't.
think it's 100,000 actually,
Is it
but
100,000? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, it is 100,000. Beg your pardon. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's not going to be discussed. I mean, we had up to what was it, nearly 400,000 for the digital ID cards, and nothing actually got discussed.
no,
So, I
exactly
mean,
that.
it is, uh, dare anyone say it? No one has, but it's almost like a dictatorship now. You got your children have to be vaccinated. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's horrendous. And now I saw, going back to schools, education, and all that sort of stuff, that there are 600 schools belonging to some, or they've been approached by some charity thing, and I can't remember the name of it because I did send it to you, where 600 schools are now linked up with this charity, and the children are being encouraged to send loving letters to the Afghans.
Yes,
And up in Scotland, they're now teaching kids in school Arabic. I
yes,
thought
they
I
are,
thought
and
you
this is
weren't supposed to
mainly
come into this country unless you could speak our language.
it is mainly in Scotland, but they are outliers on many things.
Yeah.
Even going back to the Wicked Witch of the North, that got her own justice
Yeah.
eventually. No, fortunately, that's not spread to other principalities or England itself. But that is madness.
I know. It's crazy, but that is what you get for lefty wokey teachers. And it's I was listening to something someone sent me about Margaret Thatcher, and had said something, and she was going on then about, I can't remember what it was, but she did actually say about the lefties. Even then, she said, they're still out there, and it was a long footage about 30 odd years ago, and it's true, they've always been there, and that's what I was saying. I was on quite a few media shows this week, and I said the trouble is, it always was like that. It's teaching. I suppose you're trying to teach humanity to children, and so you get a little bit on the fence sometimes. I never was, but some are. But it's definitely got worse. It's definitely got worse. And people have got to get their act together and smell the coffee, I'm afraid.
Yes, and it's the brave people like the aforementioned James and Wendy that we've done a piece with. This tune into that, guys. It's now
Yeah,
up.
yeah. No, I look forward to looking at that. I'll put it out on Twitter later.
Yes, that's a good idea. Let's spread the good news. The Bell Hotel, of course, is the thing that goes on and on. And simply put, as we've mentioned, we will mention it again. We are not being prioritized if we're a British citizen.
No,
They
not
get
at all.
the priority, and that's come through the judges. And again, you've got the lefty judges that are just running riot now. They can prove anything by going to the ECHR, and they're busy doing it. Having laws does not make a just society.
No, but what I don't understand though is, you see, this is where you have to ask the question, doesn't it? Italy are part of ECHR. They banned that imam, got him out of the country straight away. When Trump was over here, and he actually said to Starmer, did he not? This is your country, your land, your shores. Forget ECHR, just deal with it. And we're not even part of Europe anymore. So why can't we deal with it? We're not part of it. I mean, Italy and all that lot, Denmark, they're all part of ECHR, and they carried on regardless of it. I mean, what's the worst thing they can do if you don't see that woman, what's her name, Shamima Begum, who left when she was 13, 14
No,
years old, absolutely should not come in here. She's
no.
been over there in Syria for what, 9 years? She's been married how many times, had children that have died and all that. She will be so radicalized. Why on earth would you want back here? Oh, human rights. What about our human rights? What about ours? No, no one stands up and says, what about our human rights? No one stands up and says about that.
No, and we mentioned videos coming from the States. A lot of them have been this week. Actually, what goes on in the average mosque, not in every mosque. We reckon it's pretty close on 50%. And the imam stands up there and is a revolutionary, asking for caliphate and showing and stirring up. Now, the authorities must know about that.
Course, of course. I mean, just
Well, he leaves your speeches. You see,
he does
you
leave you
see an
speechless.
ordinary middle-aged lady
Yeah,
saying the Quran, and I don't believe in it, and she's arrested, stuck up manually in front of the tree, handcuffed, and led roughly off. And then you
dreadful.
see these people getting away with it. And let's not beat about the bush on this. If you're a Jew, as an example,
Yes,
you've got every right to be frightened to death
yes,
because there's another breaking news thing today. Basically, there is a broadcaster in the centre of London that is an Asian Arab broadcaster. And the stuff that goes on and is broadcast from there is horrendous. It invites the Arabs to kill and burn Jews. And that is in England.
well, that's hate.
And it gets better. Ofcom do nothing because you can sign up for Ofcom on a half Ofcom basis, apparently. And you get out of things that you should be held accountable for by doing this. Now, the Americans had this trouble 3 years ago, pre-Trump, and they've got rid of the Asian broadcasters that are clearly inviting a revolution in their
Yes,
country. And we let this carry on, and they're still broadcasting. Now, the big get out is they just do it online, of course, and not terrestrial.
yes,
But that's just as bad. In
yeah,
fact,
of course it
online
is.
has more audiences, and we should know,
Yeah,
than a terrestrial broadcaster. Now, that is in the centre of London, and that is what our government allowed to go out.
that is hate speech. That is hate speech.
On steroids.
Unbelievable. I mean, oh God. I mean, you couldn't write the script of what's going on now. Honestly, could you? You truly couldn't. I mean, and people say, oh, a lot of people say to me, I cannot, I'll watch the news for half an hour in the morning and that's it. But there is a sort of compelling drug-like feeling that you think, can it get any worse? And you put it back on again to find that it has got worse.
Yeah, it has.
And part of me thinks I don't want to live not knowing what's going on because you sort of need to for your own safety, quite honestly.
Well, exactly that. Look, we've run out of time again, but we've got to mention one thing certainly about Plaid Cymru, who are extremely left wing,
Yes.
way over what Sir Keir would have us be like. But within their party, there's been a dreadful event which led to Caerphilly by-election. David was their MP who took his own life by hanging. And they got in again because Lindsay Whittle carried the vote over, and Plaid are still in there, narrowly, but they are. And the only news media that took compassion was GB News, and way before the election went and interviewed Lindsay Whittle because he was big mates of Evin David. And basically, he was very grateful. The big boys in Plaid Cymru have banned, listen to this one, GB News from any coverage of Plaid Cymru.
Oh my word.
Oh, yes. Now, this is your loony left again.
Well, what
We
about?
can't do that. Do we live in a democracy? Apparently not.
No, of course we don't. But I mean, why? I'm surprised they don't belong to the Free Speech Union because they would channel that, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they take that?
This would be right up their street.
Absolutely. I mean, that I'm surprised. I would have thought surely they're going to challenge that, aren't they?
I would have thought so, but that is just breaking news, literally.
Good
Let's
grief.
hope somebody gets into it big time.
Good grief. Well, I mean, I find it hard to believe that like GB News, Talk TV, they are free speech channels. I would find it very unusual or even neglectful, if you like, that they hadn't joined it. Be interesting to see, wouldn't it? I must ask them.
Worth asking,
I'll
isn't
ask
it?
them because that is, oh my word.
There you go. Sorry, folks, it's been another miserable week.
It's never going to get
We've
any
got-
better. I can't see
No,
how it's
it
ever
does
going to
not.
get better.
But bless the people that have got the courage and the resilience to stand.
Oh, you have to be resilient and resourceful, and you cannot be a wimp. You are going to be put down once you put your head up the parapet. And good on anyone that is coming together and speaking out. It only takes a few passionate voices to make an army.
And do yourself a favor, Google or whichever search engine you use, even AI it, but go into cultural Marxism. Just type in what is cultural Marxism or say it. It goes back to 1929, actually.
Wow.
You will see why we have a existential problem in the United Kingdom.
I'm going to write that
We
down.
have got to fight against it. Gil, that's your homework, young lady.
My weekend homework.
Sport the weekend, the blood pressure will not go down. Listen, we'll see you very shortly.
Have a good weekend and stay safe away from the rain and the wind and
Yes. We've not covered talking about wind. We've not covered food. This.
No.
Yeah, stay off the beat is my advice, and we'll see you very shortly.
Have a good weekend.